Hello everybody, I'm Maria and welcome back to my Nook. This is a slightly different video than what you're used from me and what I am used from myself. So I don't know, let's jump right in because I want to talk about my 2022 reading journal, which I have done in this journal from Dingbats. It is their wildlife collection. It's slightly embroidered kind of picture on them. This is the wolf journal, so it's like cream-ish yellow with the wolf on the front. This is size A5 with dot grid paper. Now let's jump right into it. I started this journal in September. It also has this handy little bookmark thingy here, but let's put that aside. I just have to add the date on which I started my book journal. And it's not full yet, so there's no date for when I finished it. But I started it in September, so I had a lot of catching up to do and try to keep track with the ongoing months simultaneously. That was a bit hard, but yeah. I started out with a simple kind of front page for Book Journal 2022 by Maria. It's very simple-ish, and honestly, looking back at it, I'm not super content with it anymore, but it was the first thing I ever did in this journal, so it's fine. Next, I did a 2022 reading goal / book tracker. This page is pretty self-explanatory. I just tracked the number of the books I read on this page. Last year I managed to finish 44 books, which was crazy to me because my goal had been 6 books. So like 1 book every 2 months, because I had just come out after a multiple years long reading slump and I really was not sure how much I would be able to read or if I would even be able to keep up my reading. And so managing 44 books was incredible for me because the year before that I finished like half a book. Next page is also pretty self-explanatory. It's my monthly tracker. I just tracked how many books I read in January and February, March, April, May, and so on. You can see I put it up to 10 because I really had no idea how much I would be able to read, but I never got further than 6, which was already incredible to me. Like reading 6 books in a single month, holy cow. I also drew a few little flowers at the bottom. I'm actually really happy with these. On this page, I did my 2022 releases. So just books I was looking forward to throughout the year. And this is one of those pages that I decided to keep but change up in my 2023 book journal because as you can see, there's a lot of empty spaces here, or like almost empty spaces where I just didn't have any books I was looking forward to or didn't have many books I was looking forward to. And then at other times, like September and August, for example, the space was so filled up that I could barely fit all the books that I had been looking forward to, and sometimes had to squeeze in a few books. And I feel like that's just, first of all, it's a waste of space, and second of all, it's just not a good use of the space I have. So I decided to change that up for next year's journal, or this year's journal actually, because it is already 2023. Now on this page I did a sort of seasonal spread. Here at the top, the stars basically spell out winter, and it's like a winter landscape. I don't know, I just had that idea and I thought it would be nice. Next up, my January spread. I did this in like chapter ways. So like January is chapter 1 because it's the first month of the year, and it's got like snowflakes and fireworks. It's a very, very simple spread because I was really just starting out with my book journal, and yeah, I feel like my spreads have gotten better throughout the months, so it's okay, I guess. Also, I'm really not happy with the way the pen's kind of smudged up. That's very sad, but oh well. Now on this page I put, first of all, which books I read during January, and then on which days I read, because as I already mentioned, I had been going through a multiple years long reading slump before 2022. So I really just wanted to get back into a reading habit and build that up again. So I try to read every single day in order to build a habit. And in January, I did really good. I read every single day of the month. I also drew a little plant and used some washi tape. You know, washi tape is always the way to go. Now on this page, I had decided that I would always like do some old school journaling, just write down a few thoughts I have about the month or the reading I did that month and whatever. And like always draw a little symbol at the bottom. You will see that basically all my monthly spreads have the same base structure, which is also a thing that I want to change up next year, because this base structure was already kind of complicated. Like for each month I had to fill up 2 whole pages that were kind of themed around the month, and then I had to do this spread and also fill up a whole page with thoughts, and that I feel like made it a bit hard for me to keep track with everything. So yeah, I just want to make it easier for myself in 2023 to keep up with my reading journal. But let's move on to February. I didn't want to theme this around Valentine's Day totally on the nose, but I still kind of did. Like, it's pinkish with a letter and like fluffy clouds, and it looks a little romantic with the paper planes and stuff, but it's not too on the nose, you know. Again, the days I read, I only did not read on a single day in February, so also really good. Oh, by the way, in January I read Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation. Beach Read was the first book I read in 2022, and it got me back into reading, and it was the best experience ever. Now, February I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and The Night Circus. This was also the first spread I used a sticker. I mean, I haven't done that many spreads before. I don't know why I said that, but again, some thoughts, some paper planes. I actually really liked how this page turned out. Now this is the first page I did a book spread on, and it's about, can you guess it, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I kind of tried to theme it the way the book is themed, so I did these, like the background that is also on the book cover, and then I did my review. I had to do like a little unfoldable thingy because I just had too many thoughts about this book, okay? And they did not fit on this much of a page. So I had to do it like this. And on this page, I just did like some notes and pictures and evidence and a transcript and all that sort of stuff that perhaps Pip would put together in order to solve the case or something. I actually really like the way this page turned out. I also put a lot of time into it. Next up, I made another seasonal spread. Whoopsie. It's a spring spread. And I genuinely really like how this turned out. I like the colors. By the way, most of my spreads were inspired by Pinterest. What a surprise. Or like YouTube, Instagram, you know, other journal channels, anything like that. Then it's chapter 3, March. Again, how many days I read. I really did not read that much in March, and I also only finished one book. I had started another book, like Good Girl, Bad Blood was the second book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and I had started the third book immediately and was reading it throughout the whole month. But as you can see, I didn't have much time or energy to read. I didn't manage to finish the third book in the trilogy in March. But yeah, you can also see I didn't have that many thoughts on March. Initially, I tried to fill these things up all the way for each month, but you will see that I didn't always manage that, and that's okay. Looking back at it, I shouldn't have pressured myself that much for it. Like, if I don't have that many thoughts, that's okay. My April spread, I also really like how this turned out. I like the colors and the little froggo, isn't he cute? Oh my gosh. Now here again, I did like, I don't know what this is supposed to be, frankly. I did a watering can that pours out water and the books are attached to the water. I don't know. Let's just call it artistic freedom, I guess. Anyway, reading went a little better in April. I also know exactly why I did not read on these 3 days. And I also messed up a few times while writing this, but I managed to convince myself that that's okay. Again, another spread like this, chapter 5, May. It's kind of like honeycombs, bees. Look at this little cute bee sticker. I love it so much. As you can see, I had a lot more thoughts on May. Also reading, I genuinely really dislike the brown pen that I used here. I should have used a different pen. Now, another seasonal spread for summer. Again, an idea that was inspired by Pinterest. And I also really like this, even though you can barely see the letters for summer again. But I just like this spread. Now this is June and I also really like this spread. It's very simple. There's really just 3 ice creams on this. And a few colorful dots, but I genuinely really like this. Again, how many days I read, it was going a bit better by now. I just had a lot of time on my hands in summer. As you can see from the books that I put in these little ice cones, I finished 5 books in June. That is insane to me. I still can't believe I did that. Now on this spread, oh my god, this was so fun. I had seen on YouTube that people were doing a kind of mid-year tag, and I wanted to put that in my book journal as like a little mid-year overview of the books that I had read until the end of June and answer the questions that are in that tag. Legendary? Did I even read? I hadn't even read Legendary until June. Why did I put that down here? I don't know, frankly. I read Legendary in July, I think, so it does not belong here. But anyway, I misspelled her name. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Miss Henry. Except for Thank You for Listening, I read all these books. That is so good. I'm so proud of myself. Oh my gosh. Now on this page, I put like reading stats for the first half of the year, a few thoughts about the first 6 months, a little illustration kind of thing, and I also drew all the books that I had read in like a bookshelf kind of way instead of printing the covers out. So let's just address the elephant in the room, okay? This one says books are windows to other worlds, and I love that quote. I drew a little window and painted or drew a little kind of fantasy world, but the pen I used here was frankly a horrible choice. And that is it. That's just all I have to say about this. I read 16 books in the first half of the year, 5,974.5 pages. Yes, again, I also count half pages, but also I have to say that I don't only count the pages that I read in books that I read for entertainment. So whenever I had to read articles or whatever for my class at university, I also counted that. The days I read was 159 out of 181, which was pretty good, honestly. My most read genre, obviously romance, and least read genre, sadly fantasy. Highest rating, obviously 5 stars, lowest rating 2.75 stars, and my average rating was 4.6 stars. Incredible. Now this is my July spread. I drew some strawberries here. I love strawberries so much. But again, the pen I used here, horrible choice. Hopefully I will never do that again. At least on this page, I used some of my beautiful strawberry stickers. I love them so much. In July, I read every single day. So good. It was also a really good reading month because I finished 6 books. 6 books, guys. Can you believe that? I mean, one of them was for my bachelor's thesis that I was writing at the time, but still, like, it's insane to me to finish 6 books in 1 month. I'm also really proud of my August spread. I mean, just look at this. I love it so much. Honestly, August might be the spread that I love the most and that I am most proud of, honestly. This page, however, I'm not super proud of, but I guess it is what it is. Also really good reading month. I finished 5 books again in August. And this right here, I wrote down Something Wilder, my first Christina Lauren book. And later on, I realized that no girl, you literally read The Unhoneymooners before. I think in like June. Yeah, it must have been in June. So Something Wilder was not my first Christina Lauren book. That is literally not true. What the F, past Maria. I don't know why I wrote this down. Here comes another seasonal spread. It's my autumn spread, and I also genuinely really love this one. It's also an idea that I got from Pinterest, but I just love this so much. I also really love autumn, so. And also September. Oh my gosh, September. I also really love this spread. I mean, can you notice that my spreads have gotten better, or at least better in a way that I have gotten more content with them? I hope you can notice that. Now this one, oh my gosh. I found these stickers at a random shop and they're so cute. Look at this little hedgehog. I read every single day in September. Finished 3 books. I mean, booked on a feeling. I had read mostly in August, actually, but I finished it in September at the end, so it's on this page. Now October. I also really like my October spread. I themed it around tea because October is pretty much my favorite month of the year and I love tea. I love tea so much, and autumn is also a really great time for tea, so that's just a good combination. Now, as you can see, I really did not have much to say about October, I guess. Also did a few mistakes here and there, which are not cool, but it is what it is, I guess. And I tried something out, something new here in retrospective. And this will make sense later, but I think my printer was already giving up on me here. I just did not realize. I'm also not super happy with this, but it is what it is. I like the stickers I put here. I finished 5 whole books in October as well, which was crazy. And oh my gosh, here it comes. Another book spread. My Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares spread. I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy with it. It was inspired by Cassandra Lynn actually, and her The Name of the Wind spread in her 2022 reading journal. And I love it so much. I just chose 2 fonts from Pinterest and I drew a little moth up here and put 2 of my moon stickers because they went shopping for a moon in the books. Oh my god, so good. And then I wrote down a little, which is not that little, review/thoughts text, and I just love how this turned out. I also really love those books. Next up we have my November spread, which looks really random, and it kind of is. I genuinely did not know what to do with November because most of my months are kind of themed around something that fits the month. But for November, I really did not know what to do with the month. So I just chose the 5 colors of my favorite band, which is Pentatonix. And I just really drew like random shapes. They're so random. I saw a similar design on Pinterest and I just tried it out, like just let go and draw anything. And it was fun to do and I'm actually kind of happy with it. Not just kind of, I am happy with it. I also really like the way this side of the spread turned out. With the washi tape and the stickers and the gray colored in days and then the books as like little color splashes. I genuinely really like this page. I read every single day in November. That was such a good month. I also read the Shades of Magic trilogy in November because it was recommended to me by Katie is Reading. I have an entire reading vlog on my channel about A Darker Shade of Magic. It was so good. Considering that, here comes my Shades of Magic book spread. This one, now the printer comment will make sense to you because at this point my printer genuinely gave up on me. Like, I designed this map of London because the Shades of Magic trilogy takes place in London, and it was supposed to be the 4 different Londons that are part of the story, like Grey London, Red London, Black London and White London. But as you can see, my printer fully gave up on me and I couldn't fix the problem, but I had to film this video right now. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll go ahead and print this design out at another point when I'm at my parents' place, or, you know, fix this. I drew some kind of old vintage shop signs for the first book, A Darker Shade of Magic, and the second book, A Gathering of Shadows. And then I drew a kind of street sign for A Conjuring of Light. I put another review/thoughts text for the whole series basically, and then I chose a font-ish and put Anosh down here, which is a word from the language that is used in the books. And it basically means something like, it's not really goodbye, but it means something like until another day or see you another time, something like that. And yeah, I'm just really, really, really happy with this spread, and I love this series so much. Moving on to my December spread. This is obviously Christmas themed with like Christmas-y trees and little sparkles and stuff. So here we've got a lot of stickers. I read every single day in December, which was great because I had been in a huge book hangover, which I realized is a real thing. After reading the Shades of Magic trilogy, those books were just so good. They left me in a hangover. So I'm actually astonished that I still read every single day somehow. Put some stickers here and some wintry stickers here. They're so glittery and I love them so much. You know, some washi tape, some light bulbs, and some thoughts about December and 2022. And now this spread, because I had done that mid-year tag, I thought why not do a sort of update for the second half of the year. So I did a second half of the year update where I just answered all the same questions for the second half of the year and did the same stats for the second half of the year. Also printed out the book covers. These are not all of them. It continues on the next slide. I have some space left here because I thought maybe I'll have some new and more favorite characters, who knows. I read 28 books in the second half of the year. That's so much more compared to the first half of the year. I read 9,248 pages in the second half and 182 out of 184 days of the second half of the year. So my reading habit also got a lot better during the second half of the year. Most read genre fantasy and least read thriller, actually. My highest rating obviously 5 stars and my lowest rating was only 3 stars, so that got better too. My average rating, however, was only 4.35 stars during the second half of the year, probably because I read a lot more books and not all of them got 5 stars anymore. So, but these are all the books I read during the second half of the year. And now this was so much fun to do. I'm gonna turn my book journal. This is a kind of book bracket and I called it Book of the Year. And it's meant to tell me my favorite book of the year. It's not fully accurate, but it kind of is. First of all, like figuring out how to draw this was not that easy, but I managed. And second of all, I put the first half of the year on top and the second half of the year at the bottom because I kind of felt like, since I read so much romance in the first half and so much fantasy in the second half, that those might be hard to compare and it would probably be a little unfair. So I tried to divide that a little at first. And then I rolled the dice to figure out like which month goes here, which month goes here, which month here, and so on. And then I chose one favorite book out of each month. So my favorite book of March was Good Girl, Bad Blood. I mean, it had to be because it was the only book I finished that month. And then in April, my favorite book was The Love Hypothesis, May, Under One Roof, February, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I put only the first letters because writing the whole name out was just too much work and it probably would not have fit into this tiny little thing. June, Tweet Cute, and January, Beach Read. November, A Darker Shade of Magic. December, Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. August, The Soulmate Equation. July, A Brush with Love. October, Muse of Nightmares. And September, Love on the Brain. So then March and April, those two books competed against each other, and May and February competed against each other. June and January competed against each other, and down here as well. You get the point. So at the end, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder won, and that is a very honorable winner. And it fits. I'm like, yeah, that works. Doesn't mean that all the other books were not my favorite books. Obviously they're my favorite books, but like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, my favorite book of the year, apparently. That was my flip through of my 2022 reading journal. I really hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, maybe give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my future videos or somewhere else on the internet. Bye!